Hi Sharks, my name is Justin, and this is my grandfather. Gramps collected hobbies. He loved painting and singing and golf and tennis and wood carving. And because of this, from age 5 years old on, everybody knew him as Fid, which is short for fiddler. My grandpa always told me the most important thing in life was to love everything I do. And I've really based my life based on that advice. Gramps passed away a few years ago, and his death was hard for the whole family. Receiving his remains after the cremation didn't make it any easier. So this is how 1.9 million Americans every year receive the remains of their loved ones following cremation. This zip-tied plastic bag is how I received Gramps, and that experience was awkward and uncomfortable.
Wow.
And every year, millions of Americans have poor experiences with ashes and urns just like I did. And to avoid them, they're hiding one of their most treasured possessions in basements and closets and garages. And so my company, Parting Stone, invented a new form of human and animal remains. Following the cremation, Parting Stone Service returns the remains in a form that resembles a collection of smooth stones. The appearance of each collection of stones varies naturally from person to person, returning different hues and textures and colors for each individual. Now families tell us about how they were able to hold their loved ones again, share the remains with their community, and spread the stones in meaningful places. I'm here today seeking $400,000 for 5% of my company.
Wow.
I believe that our past loved ones deserve better, and your investment can bring a new option to the millions of Americans who are struggling through loss.
Wow, ding ding, that is super. that is a super sentiment to behold. Having family members cremated. I have a few family members that are cremated, but I think that the opportunity to do something different than just having it in a box or putting it in like one of those mausoleum walls, I think is really neat. I personally like that tree one where it's like, hey, take my ashes, put it in this plant, like seedling or whatever, and then watch it grow into a tree. But trees can be cut down. Stones, on the other hand, can be moved around. They could, like he showed, can be placed. I think it was a great representation, and I think Justin, you did a great job with the impact of showing what it looks like to have remains. I don't know if those are real remains, but if they're simulated, then either way, the plastic bag, I think with some kind of substance inside or powder inside is really impactful. But hey, look, we're talking 400,000 for 5%. And I'm guessing Justin has some kind of patent or some kind of trade secret to be able to do this. Hopefully it's something that he's come up with on his own and isn't beholden to some other technology company or licensing agreement or something to that effect. And I'm curious. I'm really curious. So stick around to the end. We're going to feature one of your comments from down below in the super community at the end of the video, as well as check out Justin's website and social media, what he's got going on online. So stay tuned to the end here.
Wow.
So Sharks, in front of you, there's a box containing one stone.
Okay, so who's in the box?
These are the remains of my grandfather.
Oh. It really is Gramps?
It really is Gramps.
I just want to say, I think you're taking on something that's a very uncomfortable subject for people.
Yes.
I mean, you're transcending this idea of how we relate to ashes or death. My father was cremated. I had the same thing. I didn't know what to do with the ashes for a long time, but I just applaud you for taking on something that's
well said.
new and uncomfortable.
Thank you.
But how do you avoid receiving the ashes, Justin, if you have to then mail them out?
Our primary business is working directly with funeral homes.
So what do you do with the remains?
Cost?
It costs, retail for a person is $9.95.
And does that include shipping and everything?
How many stones
That's
do you
with
get?
shipping.
Justin, how many stones do I receive?
A person usually results in about 40 to 60 stones.
How many funeral homes are you currently in?
We're currently in about 600 funeral homes in the United States and Canada.
And how many are there in the United States?
20,000. 75% of our business is B2B. through funeral homes. 25% is B2C.
I have a company.
All right, hold on. This is fascinating. So yeah, and the interesting thing about the funeral homes, if you aren't aware, funeral homes have been rolled up and rolled up and rolled up into like some megacorps that like keep the family name. So it's like, oh, you're going to the family. No, you ain't really going to the family. The money's going up the food chain to these megacorps that own a lot of these funeral homes. So 600, if I had to guess, is one of those companies. You know, you get in, they have like 200, 300, 400. So you only have to capture so many of them. And I'm gonna assume that the Sharks already know this, and you know, maybe it'll come up that there's like a couple. There's like three. I think I want to say like 2 or 3 big players. So of the 20,000, still ways to go. So you got a lot of hockey stick growth there. $995, I don't think is insane. 40 to 60 stones is great because you know, people with bigger families, everybody can get a stone, you know. It's versus getting like a little bit and like, did I get his toenail or whatever? I got a stone. It's a peace of mind. So I don't think the price is crazy. I'm kind of curious as what the turnaround time is on it. And I agree with Gwen. The taking on of a problem that is uncomfortable for people really, I think, solidifies an opportunity for you to be that that path for people to get something that like most people wouldn't want to talk about.
Called Basepaws, which does DNA for cats. And we've got hundreds of thousands of registries of cats that we've done the DNA testing on, and we know when Fluffy's going to go Snuff City. How many stones would Fluffy turn into on an average, let's say, 12-pound cat?
Yeah, so the average cat is maybe 3 to 5.
And what do you charge to turn the cremation of a dog or a cat into your stones?
Retail dogs are $5.95, and cats are $4.95.
And what's your cost to make each of these?
So B2B cost is $300.
And that's for a human?
That's for a human. It's 95% humans, 5% pets at this time. And so we think there is a huge opportunity in the pet space.
Justin, we've got to get in.
There is a huge opportunity in the pet space, but probably not at half the price of a human. That something doesn't add up there to me. Like where's that? It's $1,000 for a human. You're getting 40 to 60 stones. You got to ship those stones. I assume, unless you're doing that whole process on site. And also, I hate to call on the question, but maybe one of the Sharks asked and they cut it out or come up. But what's the verification that it actually is? The stones are actually what you say they are. I just want to make sure that we're not just selling stones off the beaches of some shore.
The numbers now, okay?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the last 3 years. Why don't you ramp it up for us?
Yes. 2020, we did $350,000.
Did you make any money in 2020?
No.
How much did you lose?
We lost about 300. 2021, we did about 850,000 in revenue.
Okay, what did you make on that, or what did you lose on
We
that?
lost 800,000.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
2022, we're on track for 1.3 million.
Yeah.
And our loss is about 800,000.
So why
the
this business
losses?
model is broken? You're not charging enough. You have
Oh yeah, he's not. Obviously, if it costs $4.95 to $5.95 to do a cat or dog, and it's $9.95 for a human, and you got 40, 60 stones. If I had to guess, there might also be a kickback. Like your cost per human is $300, but there's probably some kickbacks in those funeral homes, kind of like a slotting cost that the grocery stores will charge.
Let him explain, though, why these extreme losses.
We've had engineers come through and say the losses can be fixed through automation with money. So we've raised money in the past. We've raised $2.5 million total. And with this money that we're raising, we're going to be spending that on automating our process so we can get to a place of profitability.
Justin,
how
I'll
many
clear
partners?
So there's probably about 55 angel investors in on this.
Justin, I'll simplify things. I invested in a company called Eternova. We turn ashes into diamonds. We're a direct competitor with you. And so for those reasons, I'm out.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I just can't get past the losses and the raising that you've done. And for that reason, I'm out.
Okay.
But thank you for your presentation.
We're about 2 years away from reaching a break-even point.
Not at that pricing, you won't. You're going to have to raise your prices.
Yeah, if you don't raise your prices, you're in deep
Why
doo-doo.
isn't it $2,000? Then you'd make money.
Well, you have to test price resistance, right? In that first year, you'll do anything to bring them back, to kind of get them personified and back. And grieving is such a long process, and to have something that's beautiful, so fantastic. I have no doubt that it will take off. It's a little out of my wheelhouse, and I do think the economics are hard, so I'm out.
Okay, thank you, Glenna.
So I think what you're doing is really genius. But your numbers, I was hoping that I would hear something fabulous. And you have 55 investors. It's a lot of investors. But Kevin and I were just talking. He finds it interesting too.
Yeah, there's two areas that I invest in and have for decades. Weddings and death. Recession-proof. People die every day, regardless of what the market's doing. That's what I like about death.
And blowing up the pet side.
Going together, we'll give you the 400,000. We want 20%.
Whoa.
10 each. That's what gets us up in the morning. And you should do the deal for a million reasons.
Yeah, so we have other investors to consider. I can't do 20. I can do 7% for 400,000.
I wouldn't get out of bed for 3.5%. I wouldn't even die for that.
If you were sitting in our shoes.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. It's a really, you know, we all make decisions at different points in our lives and in our business. And when you got to get to a place where you feel like you need that many investors, to me, it raises the question of, why are the investors that we have not enough? Why do they not believe in it enough to invest more, right? And get down. I mean, 55 investors is a lot. Now, obviously, there's fundraising platforms and stuff like that. I guess my other question would be, of the 55 investors, how many of those investors are as high profile as Lori or Kevin? That could get phone calls returned. That could break. They didn't even bring up what I brought up, which is like there's a couple of megacorps that own all these funeral companies and funeral home companies that are just roll ups. So why wouldn't these 55 investors want to bring on two people that could, in theory, speed up that process and get you to profitability a lot faster than waiting another 2 years to hopefully get to profitability?
Right? And we look at this. You're losing money, right? We're thinking, well, what year or what decade would we ever see our money back? So do you have a counter offer that you could offer us?
And one other thing, Lori.
Hold it right there. I think I'm going to come back in. I like everything I'm hearing.
Okay.
And Laura Stone.
I'll give you the $400,000 cash, not for 7%, but for 10%. But I'd like a $20 royalty per dead person and per dead animal.
Oh my God. Is there a nicer way to say that?
Well,
I know,
how
really,
else could I say
right?
it? I couldn't think of any other.
So, are you willing to play with royalties?
God, Gwen is like, man, at this point, I'm like, man, am I on the right show? Am I doing the right thing? This does not sound right.
I am willing to play with royalties, specifically on direct consumer sales.
Okay, so if Kevin and I were to give you the 400 cash, 10%, and do that same royalty structure, but you get two sharks.
So we do the same deal. We'll match bar, but you get two.
So you'd come in for 200 each.
Yes.
Right.
You haven't questioned the
And then
royalty.
it would be the
royalty,
10%.
Excuse me, the royalty expires once I'm repaid. I'm not sure about their royalty.
I think that
makes it a
Kevin
loan.
and I should match that, because I like this, and I like what you're doing, and I want to get behind it.
It's the same deal.
It is, but you get
Which
two
effectively
sharks.
makes it a loan,
You get two
right?
sharks versus one.
A higher royalty, but on direct consumer sales only, we think that the impact that you guys can have is on the direct consumer sales.
I would do that a little bit differently. I would say we do the $400,000 cash, Kevin and I, 10% equity, and we'd still like the royalty on both, but we'll come down on your business-to-business royalty. Let's do 20 on consumer and drop down to, let's say, 12.5 on the other. But we're gonna blow up your DTC.
Okay.
I mean, blow it up.
That's a deal I'd do.
Barbara, from the royalty standpoint, is that something you would consider as well? The same structure as them?
I'll be honest, I'm going to possibly go out.
Okay, hold on. I am into
Why are you
this
still
royalty
talking
structure.
to Barbara?
Come on, Justin. You gotta know it.
I mean, that's true. Look, a hard deal is a bad deal, and if you're not feeling that confident with the two of them, it's kind of a shame. Like, if Justin was earlier in this whole situation, he could have got probably all three of them in a single deal. But I'm kind of curious as to, like, you're getting a loan at that point, right? You got to repay the loan. And not that he can't do it. And again, I think the prices probably do need to come up. Probably should be more like $1,500 to $2,000 for a person. Though not knowing the cost is $300 on a human. But obviously there's a lot more involved. And it's like once you're at $1,500 or $2,000, like you can always run sales. Like you can always sell down the price if you want to, or need to. You can't run the price, run a sale. It's 200% more than it was yesterday. Come get it, right? So the cost, I think, should go up, and it's going to have to cover these royalty deals that Justin's looking for in the short term. But also, again, in the long term, people spend $10,000 on a casket, right? So to get the ashes, I don't know what a cremation costs personally, but for a human, that is. But it's got to be a lot less than the whole funeral. $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000 for a funeral is numbers that I've heard like thrown around at times. So. If cremation is $1,000 and the stones are $1,000, you're at $2,000, and you have something that is a lot prettier than ashes in a bag that shows up to you. I think it makes a lot of sense. But God, how like so many years lost money, lost revenue, not lost revenue, lost just. Got to keep raising, right? So what does that $400,000 really is going to go towards the automation? And then you hope that the automation actually is going to work out, because if it doesn't, I mean, your price probably should still go up regardless for the research and development and all the years of losses. Now, the great thing about losses is, they can use them to, against their taxes when they start making money, but you got to make money first.
Gramps is speaking to me. He's saying, Barbie.
No, I've been holding Gramps in my hand the whole time.
What do you think, Gramps? We'll take it.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there went my pen.
Oh my God, I thought Gramps went across the room.
Congratulations. That's a spectacular idea.
Thank you so
Looking
much.
forward
Awesome.
to working with you.
Really excited
Great
to work with you.
presentation. Great presentation.
Really excited to work with you. What a dream.
Good luck.
Thank you
Check out
guys
his
so
website
much.
in a second here.
Now that we have Lori and Kevin on board, we're going to utilize their teams, their expertise to blow this up and make sure everyone in the United States knows that when you choose cremation, you do not have to receive ashes. There is a comforting alternative.
I got to tell you, I like the idea so much. I'm going to take it to Adele at Eternova and see if she can do the same thing.
Oh, well, isn't that nice of you?
Why wouldn't I? Look, what am I
You
going to
guys
tell an
are
entrepreneur?
brutal. This really is a Shark Tank.
Yeah, they're brutal, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about any patents. We didn't talk about any trade secrets. Clearly, it's not that easy to pull off. But yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you? Right? So Turn ashes into stones, solidified remains, let you hold your loved ones close again. We always talk about, seeing faces and people. We got people holding it. It's not just the stones on the ground or on a table or something. I think that's a really impactful way of doing it. And you see like Bloomberg, Business Week, Fast Company, Design Boom, and Business Insider. They've been featured on. But I feel like, that's cool and all, but what you really need to be featured on is like Good Morning America, right? And the Today Show and all these, local Good Day Philadelphias and that kind of stuff. Get the word out that way. Get some ads put into the obituaries. I mean, newspapers, obviously not everybody reads newspapers, but I'll tell you, the people that are reading newspapers are probably reading the obituaries because they most likely know some of the people that are in those, unfortunately. A new form of remains. Our service solidifies 100% of the ashes into remains that resemble a collection of 40 to 80 smooth stones. Keep your departed close. I like that. That's a neat way of doing it. Empower your family. Again, we see people and faces. So step on collection kit. They send you a collection kit. Oh wow, look at that! Like that's a neat little effect, right? So then they let's see. We purify the ashes by removing contaminants like staples and implants. So it gets down, and then they solidify it down. Solidification, and I think. Look, this goes such a long way, I think, in explaining what's going to happen to it. Because we're talking about loved ones, right? Whether it's pets or humans, it's so important. And then he got letters from families. Thank you for making the stones. I like how smooth they are. It helps me remember my grandma. Love, Lauren. That's so awesome. So awesome. What color will your stones be? So they have different colors that you can do the stones in, and you can also do your pets. So I'm kind of curious, like if I order for pets, so it's $2,500. I hate to say it, $2,500 is a bit too much, but if you're doing it, maybe it's cheaper if you get it from the let's see, a dog is $1,000. Yeah, so I mean it's definitely. It's definitely a bit more pricey. I feel like the cats are $7.95. Hopefully they get it automated and the price can come down a bit because a human at $2,500 I feel like is quite a bit. But if you spread it out like over, if you had some family members that all pitched in a little bit of money, you could get it done. But I like the $1,000 to $2,000 shows a lot better. But at some point you keep taking on investors, you keep sinking money in, you have to be able to turn around and start making some kind of profit to get back those losses. I had to go and search out their Facebook page because I couldn't find it anywhere on their site, even like under Contact Us. Or anything like that. So I went and found it. So they have 5 stars, 3 reviews, 1,600 people following the page, 1,400 likes, and live from the lab. Parting Stone is on Shark Tank, which is great to see. So yeah, quite a bit of engagement. I'm kind of curious as to what. So other than let's get past the Shark Tank. So there you go. Sharing those stories, sharing those letters, I think is such an impactful way. Sharing how people honor their loved ones in around their house and in things like that, I think is so. They had them written on. Cricket vinyl stickers. Oh, okay, for remains for the family dog. Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, and it's getting quite a bit of engagement. It's tough because again, you're talking about something that's uncomfortable to a lot of people. But what's not uncomfortable is you, Justin, reaching out down below in the comments to come on for an interview. I'd love to have you on and talk about your Shark Tank experience and all. Like this, just leave a comment like this one from To The Human. Hey Joe, I appreciate you and your videos. This is random, but you look really tired in this video. I hope you're taking care of yourself and sleeping well. I'm sorry if rest has been tough for for you lately. Thankful for you, Joe. Well, I'm thankful for you, to the human. Rest is it's been rough lately, for a number of different reasons. So I really do appreciate the concern. I got like a eyelash stuck in my eye now. I shouldn't have rubbed my eye. Oh man. Okay. So yeah, it's rest has been really rough for me. A lot of things going on, not just here with the channel, but keeping up with all the things that the family's got going on, the business, and then my other businesses on top of that. It has been quite a couple of weeks. I feel like I was really doing well back in like January before January back to August. With like rest and like running every day and everything. And since I ended up going to Texas back in January, I've kind of like fallen off of that. So looking really hard to get back into that, waking up at the 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, making sure I'm going to bed by like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I think it's really, really important for us to have those moments. Like, running for me is a form of meditation, and it helps me so much get through my day and sort through everything that I have going on and need to go on. So, and the other thing that doesn't help is I think the video that you posted this comment on, I shoot these videos at night. So like we'll be up at like 6 a.m. and I'm shooting these videos starting at 8:30 at night, going until like 10:30, 11 o'clock, sometimes a little bit later. So depending on which video, I don't quite remember. It probably is why I looked extra tired. Sometimes I can't get all the words out because I'm a little, I am tired. I got a lot going on. And it's an honor to be able to have all those things going on, serve the people that I'm serving, serving you and the super community, and just being here and being there for my kids and in everything that they do. So I appreciate your concern. I'm continuing to work on it and I did not get good sleep last night, at all. In fact, I wasn't going to shoot these videos, but the show's got to go on, right? Ding, ding. Anyway, the show's got to go on like it's got to go on over here. So I'll see you in one of these 2 videos over here. Take care. Go be super.